If you want to learn what not to do in interviews, then this podcast is for you. In this episode, I am going to talk about 5 mistakes that people make in interviews that probably cost them jobs and make it so that they are not a qualified candidate. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first mistake that a lot of people make is they don't prepare enough. Preparing for an interview is the one thing that you can 1 million times a million percent control before you actually interview. You're not going to be able to control who your interviewer is, and you're not going to be able to control what questions they ask. You might have an idea, but you're never going to know if they might just throw something at you and see how you think on your feet. So, when you are preparing for interviews, look at the job description and see exactly what they're looking for, and then look at your resume, your LinkedIn, and your experiences, and answer those questions. Answer them in a way where you have a story for every type of question that they might ask. When you prepare a lot for interviews, they're already stressful, but if you can prepare a lot, it makes it so much easier to be more confident in your answers and to just eliminate a lot of that stress that comes with interviewing, because at least you prepared as much as you could. Now, the second mistake that people make is they just give generic answers. And what I mean by this is if someone asks you, what is a time that you failed? You want to be able to say, this is the story, this is the setting of my story, this is the action that I took, and then this is the result. And then lastly, why does this story matter to you? Why is this relevant to you and your company in this role? The more specific you can get about the actions that you took, the better. That is what the interviewers want to hear, not some generic, I was part of a team and the team did this, the team did that. They want to know what you specifically did. Now, the third mistake that people make is they don't ask good questions at the end. For me personally, to just reduce all of that stress that comes with interviewing, control that. You should be writing down all of the questions that you want to be asking the interviewers beforehand. And you should just have them on a piece of paper. You don't need to memorize them. If they expect you to memorize the 5 questions, I don't know, that's to me kind of weird. If you can prepare your 5 questions before, then that already makes you stand out compared to other candidates. So, a good question might be, what do you think success looks like in this role in my first month, my first 6 months, and my first year? That could be a good question to ask the interviewer. The second thing that I like to do is I like to look at their LinkedIn once I know the interviewer and asking them something that is specific to them and maybe how long they've been with the company, something about their role that they had in their LinkedIn, just something that shows that you did your research before. That makes you stand out, knowing that you're asking specific questions about them and their role in the company, making it come across as you actually did research. And that right there gives them that check in their head that, yes, this person's actually interested in the company more than other candidates. Now, the fourth mistake, my apologies, fourth mistake that people make is they don't connect their experience to the role. And this comes into line with having generic answers. Every time that you give an answer or You're just saying some kind of story to the interviewer. You want to be able to connect it back to the role. Always think in the back of your head at the end of all of these questions, why does this matter to them? Why would the interviewer want to know this is how I handled that situation in this question they ask me? Always have it at the end of your interview answer. How does this tie back to the company and to the role? And that will make your answers sound so much cleaner, so much more put together, and the interviewer will notice that. Now, the fifth and final mistake that people make is they just have low energy and no enthusiasm. And when they come into the room or you see them on camera, you can just tell they're just straight faced, they are hunched down, they're not confident. And you don't want to portray yourself as that, especially when this is your first and maybe last impression that interviewer will have of you. So you want to come into that interview, shoulders back, smile on your face, and just be happy to be there. Whether you get the job or not, you can control if you show up to that interview with confidence. You can show if you're trying your best to just show them a little bit of personality, show them that you want this role, that you want to be there, and that you prepared enough to try and get this role. Now, with that, again, the 5 mistakes people make that you should not be doing. 1, do not come in there unprepared. Number 2, don't give generic answers. Number 3, make sure that you ask good questions at the end. Prepare those questions. Maybe take something from their LinkedIn to be even more specific. 4th, connect all of your experiences to the specific role you are applying to and tie that back to the company and why that matters to them. And then lastly, number 5, bring some good energy. Have some enthusiasm for the role, because whether you get the role or not because of your qualifications and experiences, you want to come across as someone who is confident, as someone who is positive, enthusiastic, and just someone that people want to be around. A lot of that can help you get that dream role of yours, and I am rooting for you. For whatever role or position you're applying for that you really want, I am rooting for you. Your family, your friends are rooting for you. You got this. So I thank you all for listening, and I cannot wait to see you on the next podcast. Take care, everyone.